Hello. Hi, YouTube. How's everybody doing? I hope everyone's well. Blue Flame checking in as I'm laying here and getting downloads all night. Many of us are used to the term multidimensional, becoming a multidimensional being. Um, I'd like to propose something. Multidimensional does have limitations. It's a 3D construct. And I'm going to be talking about shifting into interdimensional ways of being and thinking, which many of us have been doing and don't even realize it. Um, Kind of like, there's a beginning and an end and a linear timeline. There's a beginning, middle, and end to every cycle. And understanding the constructs of that, you can frame out different dimensions so that you can logically put what it looks like from beginning, middle to end. Okay? This is the timeline that many of us have been on, is this linear timeline of, okay, 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D. Right now we're in a collective shift, timeline jumping from like third dimension, fourth, fifth. But we usually can feel the shift in between each one. Many of you who have done this or have spiritually studied, whether it be spirituality, whether it be a certain religion, there is always a beginning, a middle, and an end to each one of those constructs. It's very Saturnian in the way that it has been presented to us as human beings so that we can actually logically think it through, because this is how we've been taught. Okay? And not to mention, we have the 3D construct of our body and the limitations of that. We have, even different stages of development with, you have infant, toddler, elementary school, you have preteen, then you have teenage years, adolescence, young adult, and there's a beginning, a middle, and an end to each one of them as you grow up. Each one of those phases of life. And then within each one of them, there's different cycles that play out as well. If you can constructively look at it that way. Now, shifting timelines, each one of them has a beginning, a middle, and end. Each one of them is like a road or a timeline of the way you're heading. And, growing up, you kind of do this subconsciously when every human being goes through all of this stuff. Puberty, the whole 9 yards. See, there's things thrown in there with us as human beings that we have been taught, these are the ways things happen during this stage of development, cognitive development, lifetime development. I mean, heck, they even talk about midlife crisis. I wonder if that's like a grand awakening for many people. Many people during their midlife, such as yours truly, are having a Chiron return. You have your Chiron return during like midlife. So we all wonder why people lose their shit in their mid 40s? Probably because they're having a Chiron return. Yes, there's things that also go along with that. You know, getting older, so on and so forth. I was going to actually go live and do this video because that's the easy way of always doing this. But videos don't usually get pushed forth that way. Usually videos will go better, so just going to upload this. You know, many of us, as I talk about being multidimensional, and then I'll go into shifting into interdimensional and what that means, what I saw and what that looks like. You know, most of us believe that there is, you know, within the 3D, that is what we see, what we're actually being able to manifest into our realm of reality. It's the whole so within, so without concept as well. Well, you internalize who you are, or who you think you are, who you were programmed you thought you should be, has all broken down. And this was for a specific reason and purpose. You know, as we begin to allow ourselves to seek the Most High and ask the Most High, help us to cognitively understand what you're wanting to do, what you're wanting to bring to this earth, your will, because the part of me that I want to shine is the part of God in me that needs to be brought forth into my realm of reality to help others around me, that they can see who God is through me. And same with all of you guys. Who's God inside? That's one question you need to start asking. Who am I in God's eyes? How does God see me? Because I guarantee many people have a distorted view of God because of what they were brought up with. When it comes to religion, they are preconceived, already solidified. They don't care. That they are actually a fractal of the Most High Creator. They are a fractal of the divine, put on this earth to shine a beautiful light of something completely different and project that out to the world to begin to shift things not only in your life but in everybody's lives around you. And it all starts with letting go of the past and hanging on to those old constructs, having to compartmentalize. Okay, well, this is where this begins, this is where this ends, this is where this begins, this, and I get it. We, as human beings, we use history and timelines and to map out what has happened in our generation or in the previous 2 generations to the up to our generation's done. So we need to keep record. I get that, for historical purposes. However, one of the things, it hasn't been working, and tell me if I'm not correct, 100% correct. If we're keeping historical records of what didn't work, you will find it's because history keeps repeating itself, because we don't get to the root of the issue. We keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And God says that is insane. Why does humanity keep going around the same thing? Learn the lesson and become interdimensional. In other words, you're actually embodying God's heart. And I don't care what anyone says. God lives on the inside of us. We just have to activate it. Many people have lost hope. That's a big issue. Many people got very disappointed because something didn't turn out the way, me included, I'm not just saying, many of us have been disappointed in our lives. Some things didn't turn out the way that we expected them to, or what we had hoped for. And I was reminded of a scripture while I was laying here. And it says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. Pretty sure it's a Proverbs. Many people have sick hearts this day and age. Look around. People don't walk in love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, mercy. You know, the fruits of the Spirit. They don't have the Beatitudes. We're to be salt and light. We're to be different. We're a city set upon a hill. We are meant to be in communion and fellowship, constant with a divine creator. We were given the keys of how to do that. So, being interdimensional is being, just go. Many people need to control everything. You can't do that if you're shifting into interdimensional spot. And I'm speaking as a cat moon here, folks. Okay? The structure of that whole, it's going, many of you have been doing this anyway. It's how you get downloads. Whether even, a lot of times you'll pray about something and then you'll just get the knowing and the answer. Or you'll ask about something and then you'll see a flicker or a vision of your prayer, something manifesting, your prayer being answered. And it very well could look bizarre, but it speaks directly to you. You know that something's moving and shifting in the atmosphere. Because when we pray, we're supposed to expect. It's called faith. God will put tasks on the inside of you that you're like, oh man, do I really have to go do that? That's crazy. Yeah, you do. No matter how crazy it looks. Everyone here has a part to play and a piece to play in the shift. Even if it looks dark and bad, those people have a part to play. So, I mean, many people can get mad at, certain things happening within the world. But remember, we only see what they tell us. Sometimes you have to feel with your own propaganda's everywhere. They've been doing this for centuries. To get people fighting and to get people warring against each other and not have peace. And the veil is lifting. And those who know who they are in God, those who know who they are, will be able to move freely, interdimensionally, at any given time. Most people do it a lot of times in their sleep or subconsciously. They're not even... With me, I could slip into this stuff. I've had out of body, like, weird. I get visions while I'm sitting and I'm awake and everything goes dark and I see a flash of something. This happens to me all the time. It happens to me a lot, especially when I'm sitting at my table or I'm reading cards. Most of that stuff is, yeah, the cards come out and help with taking the story through. But most of the time I'm getting stuff, it's channeled. I mean, I just got taken through the cards real quickly tonight, and even with trying to organize all of that with any readers or whatever out there, you're going to notice an increase of shifting throughout, even when you're doing readings and stuff. Moving interdimensionally, seeing things, remote viewing. Yep. Those of you who have the gift of sight and foresight, yeah. Whether you're a prophet, whether you're whatever, yeah, everything is increasing. And those who are on the light side of this, the children of God, yeah, you're going to have to freaking... Your task is going to be harder because you're going to have to show love and not... and work from your heart space. And not from a place of anger and hate and stoop as low as those who are projecting that out into society. You're going to have to do the opposite. We live in a upside down kingdom. We still do, and it's even more upside. Basically now it's like whatever is actually good and benevolent is actually, in society's eyes, makes people look weak, or when this is one of the hardest things a human being can do, is self-mastery. Not hating somebody or like that. This is another thing I was talking to my Saji about. I told him, I'm like, why does people have to hate each other, like, even if they break up? Why can't people have a decent... And I was speaking to my own damn self, don't think I'm not, but I had to forgive, and I had to learn that everything that has happened in my past, I can continue to hold on to it, or I can drop the rope and you're not giving people a pass. When you drop the rope, you're just giving God the power to solve your problems. And God will give you the wisdom on how to handle it in a non-confrontational, nasty way. Like, we don't have to be nasty to get our point across. We have to be smart. We have to be loving, and we still have to stay in integrity. I was tested last week. I'm not going to lie. I told him about it. And I passed. Because I knew what was going on, and I thank God for the test. But God let me know. It was a cycle that cycled back around from February, and I'm like, okay. Here we go. Oh, dear Lord. I passed it this time. Didn't pass it so well the last time, but I did pass it finally this time. You know, with joy and happiness and peace. No matter how stupid that or weak that makes me sound, I'm far from that. I know this. So that is what is happening. Victory is at hand. I'm also going to tell you a little bit about, doing my part when it comes to what I was told to do. I was told to do it last year. I didn't do it because of, the whole, Rona and stuff. And and it wasn't that I was trying to be blatantly disobedient. It was the Rona and going somewhere by myself or not being comfortable going with certain other people. But either way, I did what I had to do. I did what I was told to do. And I got a confirmation before I left. And then when I got home, I had a vision. Just a blip in a vision. And I have an eyewitness with receipts. And now we're going to see things Peter pop off here pretty directly. I'm pretty sure of it. Between the dream I had back in February and then the tests came, this is the same. I can put it all into a little patterning. And this time I did things differently. I personally chose differently. And I chose well. I chose right. I knew it. I had peace about it. Yeah. Ascension symptoms. Ever since I don't know, last week was kind of a blip and a blur, and there was things going on from, my word, stuff from a 7-year cycle and intermittent stuff in between that it's all cycled back around, and it's kind of at the stopping point. Now that all that old stuff from since I was in the mother's womb is pretty well, has a more cognitive understanding, and even with my ancestral lines and stuff, I have a more cognitive understanding of what was happening. And I'm not even mad at the ancestors who didn't get this. I'm not mad at whoever cursed I don't, it's over and done. Beef is squashed. I could care less. I just came here to help clear the line. And I don't say that, I say that with facts. I am the bondage, ancestral curse breaker of my family. It had to come through me. There is going to be no more, like I said, I had to clear an ancestral karmic loop between my mom's side and my dad's side. Both descendants of different brothers of Jaegers. Yeah. And then my parents were both Jaegers. My mom never had to change her maiden name. It was always the same. My dad was one of 2 sons, and they were also Jaegers. My mom had 4 brothers. None of them, one passed away at 9 years old. Another one, he couldn't have kids. Another one, he ended up getting with a woman who I don't think she could have kids or even wanted kids. They ended up getting divorced. He ended up marrying his high school sweetheart. She already had a bunch of kids. He was great with that. They didn't want no kids. Okay, moving on. And my other uncle, he ended up marrying a woman that she had a daughter. And I don't know if either they couldn't have kids, but something happened that they're obviously above childbearing age. So that whole ancestral line is done. There are no Jaegers coming out of my mom's side no more. My dad's side, he had 2 girls, and my uncle had a boy. Well, that boy ended up, he can't have kids. It's the way the cookie crumbles. Like, that Jaegers, it's closed after my generation. Done. And that's what many of us are here to do. And if you look at your ancestral karmic lines, I guarantee you're going to see some of the same scenarios, such as what I've saw. I mean, some of you might not have it so blatant right in your face, splat, egg on your face. You know, people, what's your mom's maiden name? Jaeger. Well, okay. I mean, I get it. It matters some. But heck, I came into this world interjected right in between all that mess. You know, I was just thinking about it before I even came on here, about even how traumatic my birth was. The doctor didn't show up on time. The nurse is legit holding me in my mom's birth canal. You know, that's a little bit private and stuff, but it's true. Finally, when the doctor rolled in, she said, enough of this waiting, and, you know, enter blue flame. Here I come. Yep, pretty traumatic birth. Pretty traumatic childhood. Just a lot of it, like, I had to go through this stuff. It wasn't technically about even me. It was about what my soul needed to go through and the crushing it needed because of becoming an interdimensional transmute. I transmute energy. It's a part of who I am. It's a part of a gift I have, an empathic gift that I have. But what happened was I became, when I started becoming more interdimensional, I would legit hear things. And it happened when I was in public. And it's why I didn't go in public much anymore, because it was almost embarrassing. Like, it's like you're having an anxiety attack right in the middle of like 75 people. And it's like, I can't be here. at all, like all that energy being like you just can't stand it. And that's because you're in the 3D, but you are not in the 3D. You were consciously in the 4D, seeing all of the darkness, feeling it all, because you're moving through these energies, even though your body, and that's why your body would react to that, because you're becoming interdimensional. And you would notice the shift even moving from 4D into 5D, because that's the angelic starting to go into the God realm, and the angelic realm is above the fourth heaven. Like, it's third heaven area, but above the fourth dimension. And there was something that, like I said, I was telling a bunch of people, well, not a bunch, but a few people closest to me about what I saw for even my intro video. And it's going to be so awesome when I get it done. It's just I gotta find somebody that can do it, that's not gonna, I know how I want it. I just need a great graphic designer, or somebody that can help me, show me how to do it. I'll do it myself. I just need help to know how to do this. Because I want to use like animated, like animation, but like bright colored animation, and there's things that I need. So either way, and all that came through a vision. I saw what I wanted. I know that this was downloaded to me, and it's freaking so creative and beautiful, and it'll be so, nobody on YouTube has anything that looks like this for an intro. I know this. So it's very unique and creative, and it's me, and a flair of me and what God